Oh, that's right. Health and wellness for life. Got those artists you like. Yeah. We are the voice of the people. Take Christ wherever we go. The light is on our people tonight. Whatever you like, we put it down. The mic is hot, no doubt. The light is on.
Hey, good evening. This is Gerald C. Anderson Sr. Welcome to another episode of the Lyfe Live. We have three magnificent people here to educate you and give you their background and their lives. I'm sure that you'll enjoy them very much. As you can see, Tina's not able to be with us tonight, so you're stuck with just me. I don't know what to tell you, but I am here. So the last time we had a show, though, I was involved in jury duty, so I couldn't really talk about it. But I don't wish jury duty on nobody. So I hope nobody ever gets stuck with jury duty, especially with a 2-week case like I had. So I couldn't really talk about it at the time, but it was terrible. I spent 2 weeks on it. Like I said, as being in the military, I was 15 years as a paralegal, so nobody would ever pick me to be on the jury. And this particular time, they went ahead and picked me. And I was happy because it was something I wanted to experience, because I always handled juries, but never got to be one. I wish I hadn't wished for that because then I went through that 2 weeks and it's long and you're stuck in that room by yourself with 11 other people trying to decide someone's fate. So I don't wish that on nobody else, but I know it's something that we have to do. So we're going to get started with our talented, funny, and she brings a positive energy to the life with the positive media moment. Let's welcome Buff Patterson to the stage.
Hey. Well, first of all, I want to talk about how hot it is. I don't know what states y'all in, but if y'all know Jesus, y'all need to find out, because this heat is changing religions. If you don't believe in Jesus now, you better start believing, because this heat ain't playing games.
Come on now, it can't be that hot out there.
Well, I was in the desert this weekend visiting
my brother.
Well,
that's why you was hot.
126 degrees ain't right.
Well, that's why you was hot. You was in the desert.
It was hot and it was so hot I couldn't even focus. I went to bed hot, woke up hot. It was crazy. But today, I'm so excited because I love bringing life's positive media moments. And today I have an amazing person. Her name is Rebecca Lee Crumbleson.
Okay.
And she, in 1861, became the first Black female doctor. And what made her so significant is, I don't know what it is about y'all Negroes on the East Coast, but bar none, against odds, she became a female doctor, and her practice was to help the free slaves that came over from the South. And it's something about people that, even though they weren't given the most opportunities, how they take that little opportunity and make it something amazing. And I think that when you look at people of color, mainly Black people, that the ones in the North were so progressive, and that they were able to help the ones that came from the South through legal, through medical. And I think that we need to celebrate them more. I love the fact that through this platform, even through myself, I'm able to educate myself on people of color and their contributions. We were never just slaves. We were inventors, doctors, lawyers, architects, and we need to talk about the positive things we've been in this earth, hiding in plain sight, so that our children and even people that never heard this feel the empowerment of what we have done for this American society.
Okay. All right. You always have these people that we haven't heard of. So I like that educational portion of everything. So I really appreciate you bringing that to everyone, so we can all
and I think what I want to say, Gerald, what makes me so excited about it is because growing up here in Southern California, we only got to hear about Martin Luther King and Mary McLeod Bethune and maybe Sojourner Weaver or maybe George Washington Carver. our history is so rich that I really believe that our history should be taught every single day. We should not be relegated to a month in February. As
Right.
soon as you open up a book, every child, I don't care, indigenous, white, black, Chinese, should know the contributions of us Americans.
Right.
And if we could start a petition and say, let it be taught all year round, not just some of the year. And
Yeah.
that's why I really love these Life's Positivity Moment, because it causes me to have to research my own history and
Mhm.
realize, again, we weren't just slaves. We were modern day historians, educators. And so I just want to thank you for the opportunity. I hope any of our listeners get a chance to research some of the people I'm able to bring to light so that you too can feel proud about Life's Positive Media Moment.
Right. Yeah. Some of that is on us to do ourselves too. Like these kind of platforms need to bring out information about our history and our background, where we've come from, and things that we've done, the positive things that we've done. So, that was one of the reasons why we incorporated that into this show. So, a way to bring out the positive things that people have been doing in past, present, and future.
Yes. So
So,
I encourage anyone. And matter of fact, if anyone's listening right now, if you have somebody you want us to feature, I'm putting it out there. I would love to do research on them and bring it to light, because I think it's very important, and it gives you a sense of pride in our culture, of us knowing exactly who we are. And again, it's something about our East Coast people that are way different than other people. I just love the strength and the power. And it looks like in the 1800s, we were doing all kinds of stuff. I mean, we were not holding back.
right.
And again, if anybody has someone we want us to feature, just put it in the comments, and I would love to research them and bring it to light.
All right. Buff has giving y'all a homework assignment. All right. Thank you, Buff. We appreciate that. And we appreciate that information and that challenge and homework assignment to the
The
people.
challenge.
Drop a line in there and let's see if Buff can come up with some information on that person. All right. Thanks.
See y'all later.
Yep. Let's take it to commercial, and then we'll come back with our first guest. Okay. All right. So yeah, the summer issue is out. We really appreciate the people who have purchased the summer issue. That really goes a long way to helping us build our brand up, build this magazine up. So we want to take a moment out to thank all of the people who have supported our magazine over the years, and the latest people who have purchased the summer issue of the Lyfe Magazine featuring Randy Norman. And we also want to thank Glennis Albright for sponsoring that video that you just saw, that commercial that just played. There's people like her that pour into the vision here at the Lyfe Magazine and help us to grow. And so, Glennis Albright, we want to thank you. We want to thank your family, because you don't do it by yourself. You do it with your family support. So we want to say thank you to you as well. So our first guest is someone I've been waiting to talk to. She is a talent attraction consultant. Make sure I get that right. I have never met a talent attraction consultant before, so I'm dying to find out what that is all about. So her name is Jeannetta Jaybee Nickelson. Welcome to the stage.
Hi, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
I'm glad. We're glad to have you here. I know that you told me earlier it was from Phoenix, Arizona, so I know it must be hot out there as well.
Yeah, I'm from about an hour and a half outside of Phoenix. It's a little cooler than Phoenix, but it's definitely triple digits for an extended period of time. So we're baking over here, that's for
All
sure.
right, all right, all right. And I think the heat is probably better than our winters are here.
I've heard
You know,
that. Yes,
yeah,
I've heard
we
that.
come close to that zero number a few times. So I think I'd rather be hot than cold.
No, I get that. I agree with that.
All right. So tell us what a talent attraction consultant is. What do you do?
So a talent attraction consultant, it's a part of the talent acquisition space, which is kind of like an extended leg of HR. So basically talent attraction is everything that goes into like the strategy, the marketing, the thought behind attracting talent for an organization. So I've done that. I'm in my 12th year and I've worked with anything manager level and above, placing those in the corporate or technology setting for the bulk of my career. So I'm kind of like a strategic partner that comes alongside a VP or a CEO, and basically helps them to enhance the culture of their company by bringing on top talent. So that's what I do in the consulting space.
Okay. But that's not where you started though, right?
No, I started out, my background is in branding and marketing. And so I developed a niche relative to talent acquisition where I did talent acquisition recruitment marketing. So everything from like your radio advertisement to your ads to, grassroots strategy, just really developing that multi-pronged strategy to attract talent in competitive markets. So I've done that for Fortune 500 companies for, going on, well, like I said, in my 12th year. I started out administratively in that field, just supporting people that did what I did and developed a curiosity for that. I've dabbled some in the independent music industry, brand consulting as well. And that goes back, even 15 years. And then now, doing the consulting that I'm doing in the insurance industry, helping people build out their agencies and recruit talent to grow in that space. And of course, writing is the new name of the game for me. So
Yeah. So you had a writing career column.
I did. So I had a career called or a writing column called Jaybee Nation. And I've always written in the personal development space. So how can you just keep your mind sharp and, progress continuously and level up in your career and, managing life so that it can not get in the way,
Right.
in the process. So yes, I've worn many hats in this life so far.
Okay. So what are some tips in that area that can help people where life doesn't get in the way, or when life does get in the way? Because sometimes you just can't help that life gets in the way. So when
Yeah.
life gets in the way, what can we do?
I think for the person that's like me, so like a working, very busy mom, has a career, has a business, has things going on, you really have to pace yourself and you have to be good to yourself and you have to prioritize and you have to be disciplined. I do the same thing every day and I've done this for years. I take a Post-it at the beginning of the day. I write out the 5 things that I have to get done that day. And I do not close my computer until they're done. If I do those 5 things every day, if I do my fast 5, then I've accomplished something. And it has to be like a boiling point thing. Anything else can wait until the next day. I'm not curing cancer here. So I think, just really creating some realistic boundaries for yourself is definitely one of those things. It really can get so overwhelming when you're wearing so many hats. So just to really just live in the moment and take the tasks that you have one step at a time seems like a simple principle, but we don't do that all the time. And so that's honestly my best advice, is to be good to yourself, to give yourself some grace and to pace yourself and to just do a couple things every single day to get to the goal, no matter what it is. If it's your work day, if it's your relationship, if it's your parenting, if it's self-care, just start with your fast 5.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a very good strategy. I never thought of it like that. Writing down the 5 goals, that you basically want to get done for the day, and so it's kind of like because actually me and my wife have something similar. We call it moving the needle.
Okay.
It's like So we do something to move the needle every day,
Okay.
and so it's kind of in the same space. We just didn't kind of mark it out like 5 different things, but it's kind of the same principle. So when we start the day out, we want to do something to move the needle toward whatever goal that we're trying to reach. And so I think you do need something like that in your life, and because life will come in the way. So
Oh yes.
yeah, so you built this column up, and it sounds like it went international at some point. So
Yes, it did. It was really a mixture of my personal brand along with the consulting and the column that made me have an international following, specific to like London, Jamaica, Africa, and some Guatemala. And those were places where I was consulting at the time, building a presence and a brand. And then when the column rolled out, everyone kind of jumped on the bandwagon to support. And so, yes, so that's what took me to an international reach. And then I've maintained that since, with just the movements and staying active on social media, be it like your Facebook, your Instagram, your LinkedIn. Those are like my primary ones for my audience as well.
Okay. So when you say column, was it like a newspaper, or was it your own blog website, or what was it?
So I've contributed over the years to many magazines, and the column that I had was in Stardom 101 magazine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep. Designed for people that are just getting going, tips to level up, how to make yourself have that presence, and how to be set apart from the rest is really the vision of that company and that mag. So it was perfect for me at the time.
Okay. So how does one reach you today if they wanted to be recruited by you? Or
Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, all at Jaybee Nickelson is how you can find me. Jaybee Nickelson, Nickelson. And I'm very active on all 3 of those platforms.
Did you say LinkedIn or?
Yes, LinkedIn.
Okay.
LinkedIn. And I say LinkedIn only because, with what I'm doing and with people wanting to make a change in their career and, connect to the professional community, that's one of those platforms that has a lot of momentum, but it's not talked about as much when you loop in the social media group.
Right.
So I'm very active with that, blog on there from time to time. And then, of course, Instagram and Facebook as well.
Right. Yeah. Because LinkedIn is more about, people. I see it as a job site. If you're looking to connect with people to, maybe get a different job or something, that's a lot of people I think look at LinkedIn. They don't look at it the same way they look at Facebook and Instagram.
I agree. And if you just think about it from a little bit different perspective, right? Those are like the professional people that are making moves day in and day out, the heavy hitters, the decision makers. Who better, if you're trying to build a personal brand and a professional presence for yourself, than to post on there where they can see that you're building a brand and, see that you're showcasing yourself and say, that person is a part of something bigger than themselves. They're building something great. I would like them to be a part of this culture and this team. And I've been recruited and asked to be recruited by several companies just from posting my personal brand stuff. And blogging, you can blog on LinkedIn, you can join groups. It's very much a slept on addition to the social media community. So if you just think, I'm going to go apply, I think people lump it into the Indeed category when you should lump it into more of the Instagram, Facebook category. Build your network. It will never let you down.
Right. Okay. And so I understand that you're writing a book also.
I have written a book. Yes. It's called Priority Me.
There you go. Okay. Tell us about that.
So Priority Me is really an ode to true transformation. So I have undergone a transformation over the last year and a half, lost 50 pounds, renewed my mind, leveled up in my career. And this is kind of a how-to guide on just some gentle suggestions on what I did, and the Fast 5 is one of the things that I mentioned, committing to the process, quickly deciding and pivoting, identifying winners are a couple of the principles that are listed in the book, but they're really just tips and tricks of the trade on how to create a priority me lifestyle for for yourself. And so the book has been out for since March, and it can be found on Amazon.
Mhm.
And basically, living a priority me lifestyle is making yourself a priority in a healthy way, not being selfish, but in a healthy way, so that you practice self-care, but also so that everything you give to, whether it be your spouse, your career, your children, that extra project, so that you understand how to gather yourself and not give too much, and so that you do everything with quality. That's a priority me lifestyle and a priority me mindset.
Okay. Can you share one of those tips from out of that book?
Oh, yes. So that was what I was saying. The Fast Five is one of the tips.
Okay, that's the one.
Quickly deciding and pivoting.
What
Identifying
what does that
winners.
mean?
So quickly deciding is sometimes, you know how we know, like in the back of your head, like, yeah, I should write that book. And that's what I did, right? Like for years, literally, like this book's just kind of lingering in the back of my head. I know that I am called to do this. I know that I'm supposed to do it. If I would have made the decision to do it, I would probably have written 3 or 4 or 5 books by now, because that was like 10 years ago.
Right.
So when you have something that's on you and it's literally on your soul and it's pulling at you, chances are that's what you're supposed to do. Quickly decide and pivot. Start working on that. Invest your time and your energy in it. If it's keeping you up at night, it's more than likely a part of your purpose. And so that's what I mean by that. Another one is identifying the winners in your life. So we're not all where we want to be, right? There's always that next level to get to. So identify people that are in position doing what you want to be doing. Sometimes people shy away from that, or we're like, we don't approach people that are where we need to be or where we want to be. Or, you know, the hater complex comes in and you see something or somebody with something you have that you want. Take that opportunity to humble yourself. Take that person to coffee, take them to lunch, ask them for the secrets to their success, because chances are they've been in the paint too. They can tell you the steps to get going in the right direction. So that's what I mean by identifying winners. So those are 3 principles that I personally live by day in and day out regarding the book. And there's several more, but those are the main ones I would say to take away.
Okay. So to tell us again where you can get the book from.
The book is on Amazon.com. It's available in audio as well as hard copy and paperback as well.
Is that the only place? Because what if we want a signed copy?
Reach out to me on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because I know if people buy directly from you, you get more of a royalty than if you get it from Amazon. So
that's true. The book is also available on PayPal too. And so there's a link to that on my website, which is jbsworld.com. So I would say actually start there. Go to jbsworld.com, see some of my, my interviews and, the link to the book on Amazon and PayPal, and just some of the articles and events and different things going on in my world as well.
Okay. All righty. Well, we appreciate you stopping by then and telling us all about this. And that book is definitely needs to be on everybody's list to go out and buy that right now. So you heard jbsworld.com. Got that right? Yeah. So okay. So make sure you navigate over to that site and purchase and get yourself a signed copy. So
Yes,
let's help authors out, because if we go to Amazon, we're really building Amazon up more than we are the authors. So let's go directly to the author and buy directly from their website and help build the authors. Stephen King don't need to be making all the money.
I know, right? Between him and J.K. Rowling, we're in trouble.
That's right. All of them, they don't need to be making all the money. So all right. So we appreciate you coming by. We thank Desiree for leading you to us. Desiree is our number 1 PR person. She's always getting us people.
She's amazing. She's one of
make sure we thank her. Say it again.
I said she's amazing. She's one of a kind.
Right. So we appreciate Desiree and all, and we will hopefully some people will go to your site and buy your book. So
thank you.
Hope you get thousands of orders.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much so.
All right. Well, you have a good evening.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, so make sure you go over to JB's World and purchase that book. I think it's got a lot of great information. The little information that she shared with us tonight was definitely positive. I'm gonna start doing those 5 things myself. Get me a little post-it pad and write my little 5 things down. So hope Nick is backstage ready to prop up this commercial and get us going to the next part of our show. So Nick, hit the commercial.
Introducing a new YouTube series, Dorns on Top of the World. Everywhere that I go, I gotta let the world know it's just me and my phone. Hey.
Dorm fam, about to make you move, bro. Turn it up. Got to let the world know. Everybody and my mama on the track, yo. Dylan Dorn, pass it to my twin, bro.
Call me DJ, got him cracking up. Yeah, they can't catch me, I'm too fly. What? Roll up like I knew we would. Won't try music, Dorm fam, all good. Used to be the only girl, now it's me and Vicky. We gon' hold it down. Can you feel me? How we do every day of the week. Me and my family rolling deep.
Now this is what I mean when I rhyme to survive with these vlogs and these skits and these beats. How we grind. You can catch us online once you like and subscribe.
Welcome to our world.
It's the Dorns on Top, right?
Everywhere that I go, I gotta let the world know it's just me and my phone. Everywhere that I go, I gotta let the world know it's just me and my phone.
Ooh, make sure you go over to YouTube and look up Dorns on Top of the World. That's a new show that a friend of mine is putting out. I'm actually writing a script for the next show, so make sure you go over and check that out. If you like these advertisements, you too can advertise on the Lyfe Live. So drop us a line if you're interested in advertising your products on the show, and we'll help you get there. Our next guest is a doctor. Dr. Pauline Williams is here to talk about her career and her future film that is coming up. So welcome to the stage, Dr. Pauline Williams. Good evening.
I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're another one of Desiree's people, so we appreciate Desiree again for bringing you on as well. So I'm always interested in filmmakers. So I did a film myself a few years ago, and I love movies. So I'm always interested in talking to people who are in that area or getting into that area. So it's definitely an honor to have you on the show tonight. But we know that's not where you started. So tell us about your starting, where you come from, how you got to be a doctor.
Okay, well, I started with a career in social work and then in education. I was in the field of education for nearly 40 years. And let me just go back a little bit before that to talk about storytelling, which is a theme in what I have done throughout the years, and it carries over into my work in filmmaking. So as a child, I came from a family of storytellers. My parents used to tell stories all the time. So did my sister. And then very early in life, around the 7th grade, I started writing plays. And my teacher liked them so much that she, quote unquote, published them in the library because she noticed that the children in class weren't interested in the curriculum and the reading, the books that we had. They always wanted to read the plays that I wrote. And for them, it was culturally relevant. And that's what attracted them to those stories. So that's where I got my start with writing. And when I went I was in social work for a while, and I worked in as a child protective investigator. And from there, I became a bilingual teacher in the Chicago public schools And I use storytelling as a tool to connect with my students.
Mhm.
Um, I taught them, in addition to our curriculum, and really as an after school type of activity, I taught them screenwriting, taught them budgeting, casting, acting, and how to produce a television program. And we produced several television programs in our local cable access station, and they aired on television. And the children were really excited about these. And so, well, from there, I went on to get my master's and my doctorate. And my master's was in my master's degree is it's a Master of Education in Instructional Leadership with a minor in bilingual education. And my PhD was in curriculum design. And then
Mhm.
after that, I went into a career in higher education. And I retired from Illinois State University a couple of years ago. And at that time, I guess about 2 years prior to that, I started thinking about just going in full time working as a producer
Mhm.
because that seed was planted so early in life. And I never stopped doing things in that area.
Mhm. So you
So,
circled all the way back around to where you
exactly.
came from the beginning. Yeah.
And I worked for a decade as the leader of the media ministry at my church.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
after I graduated, I took a leap of faith and I started Maddie Mex Productions LLC.
Okay.
And what we do there is, well, our mission is to reach the world with positive, uplifting content that inspires, entertains, and enlightens, and
Mhm.
honors God. And so that's where I am today.
You fit. That sounds like you fit right into the Life family because that's what we believe in, positive media. So yeah, that it sounds like you have a very vast background. The storytelling. I haven't really heard it called that in a long time. So, so what did they do? Did they, back when you was young, did they just sit around the coffee table or something or the kitchen table and just tell different stories and stuff? Or how did
Well,
that?
pretty much. That's pretty much what it was. It's bedtime stories,
Hmm.
you know. And my father was such a creative person, and so was my mother. And they just used to tell us bedtime stories every night. And later on, when my sister started, it was the same type of thing. At bedtime, she would tell us stories.
Hmm. And was these stories that they came up with themselves, or?
I believe that some of those stories that my father told were, well, he said that these were experiences in life. And my mother would say when he left the room that those were tall tales that he made up, that it really didn't happen the way that he said, you know.
Right. Okay. Well, either way, it planted that seed into you, and now today, you have your publishing, production company, and you're going to be releasing a movie or filming a movie here soon in the Chicago area, right?
Yes, yes.
And
I am
tell
so,
us a little bit about that.
yes, I'm very excited to tell you about this film. And the name of it is Shoutin' Hallelujah.
Hmm.
And we're in the developmental stages of it at this point. And we see it as more than just a film. It was a vision born out of divine inspiration. And it follows one family's path from brokenness to wholeness. And it shows the transformative power of redemption, healing, and forgiveness.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
so, and it's a story about this family. The father had left when the children were very young. And at the point that the film starts, he's an elderly man who's in hospice, and he's looking to relocate, well, to find his children and um, and give them this mysterious legacy that he has for them. So that's what the movie pretty much is about. And meanwhile, the children are dealing they're dealing with their own personal demons, and pretty much blaming everything that has happened to them in life because of the absence of their father. But so that's the setup for the film. But it centers around this theme of fatherlessness, and which affects so many children in the U.S. 1 in 4 children, and is also related to a myriad of societal issues, and so issues such as teen pregnancy, behavioral disorders, mental health issues, poverty, homelessness, and so forth, gang activity. And, as we have developed this project, it has become something that a little bit more, as I said before, more than a film. We're calling it a movement because it very well should be. And let me give you just a little bit of history. We started working on the film last year, but we stopped when the industry experienced the strikes for that period. So what we did was we developed what we're calling a companion piece. And the name of the film, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, is Shouting Hallelujah.
Yeah, you did. Shouting Hallelujah.
So this one is Shouting Hallelujah, A Journey of Healing. And
Okay.
so with this one, what we did was we found people, we asked people for their stories, because whenever I talk about the project, so many people connect. Because if you think about the statistics, 1 in 4, everybody knows somebody who grew up without a father in the home.
Right.
So many people connected. So we did this short film that's going to air in the fall. But actually, there's a preview on our website, and I'm going to talk about that webpage in just a minute. But in this film, so we reached out far and wide. But people in our family, people in my family came forward to give their stories. Now, in my family, at the age of 13, I lost my father, but he had I had developed such a strong foundation from him. And I don't think that I ever really fully experienced what it was like for some of the other children who grew up without their fathers, who never had their fathers present in the home. And then thinking also about all of my years as a social worker and a teacher, I really felt a lot of empathy for children who were growing up with one or no parents in the home. And so this meant a lot to me. And then for my family members to come forward. Now, and this is not the fatherlessness that resulted from my father's passing. Case in point, my brother, he stepped forward and he said he wanted to be a part of it, to tell his story. He had his wife, and he and his wife had divorced, and his wife moved to the East Coast, and he wasn't there in his children's lives. And at the same time, he went through addiction for decades. And he talked about that very freely. And even during this time, I found out that he had more than the 4 children I knew that he had. He said that he had 10 children. And I was just astounded. And I'm thinking, okay, this is my family. I thought I knew what happened in the family. And so he told that story, and it really, really touched my heart. And so I reached out to his oldest daughter, who I knew very well, especially when she was younger, and she agreed to come on and tell her story. Now, when the project started, he wasn't really in touch with her. He was trying to get in touch with her. He had given me he had told me to give her his phone number, which I did, and she politely accepted it, but she didn't call. And so he was really trying to get in touch with all 10 of his children to make amends, because at this point he is a changed individual. He went through a 12-step program, And I mean, he's just such an outstanding human being in helping other people get to that point of sobriety. And he's doing mighty work for the kingdom of God. And so, I mean, I admire my brother at this point so very much. And he's trying to reach back to reconnect with his children. So I interviewed him, or I'm sorry, he told his story. His daughter told her story. By the end of the time that we were taping, they were back in touch. They started communicating. And just a couple of weeks ago, his daughter came to town and we all reunited. In fact, when I was talking to her and interviewing her, I just became very emotional because, you know, we used to be so very close. And I just told her, I said, now that we have reconnected, we need to be together for the rest of our lives. I love you
Right.
so very much. And so when she came to town, she brought her husband. We had never met him. And we all got together and we had such a glorious time. And, you know, and I thought, wow, just look at this, you know, family coming back together. And, you know, and as the team and we talk and we were saying, oh, this ought to be a movement. It's not that we can announce the movement or anything like that, but what we're hoping from the feature film is that we'll create a space for reflection so that people
Okay.
can think deeply, you know, about it and consider making that first step.
Right.
And, you know, having these difficult conversations and enabling a way for children and their parents, their fathers, can get back together and have some type of a relationship. So
Right.
I'm really excited about this project and bringing it to fruition.
All right. And when do you think this film will be released, so everybody will be able to have a chance to watch it?
Well, within the next year, I would say. And it really depends on the funding.
Right.
We are a small company. We're not one of the larger companies that has vast resources. What we're trying to do now is to raise funds so that we can produce this film and to the level that we want to, with the quality that we want.
Okay.
And
So is there a way that people can follow you and you know, stay in touch with you, and they wanted to make sure that they be one of the first people to watch the film? How can they keep up with you?
well, right now our primary social media avenue is Facebook, and the page is Shoutin' Hallelujah. There's no G at the end of Shoutin'. It's
Okay.
Shoutin' Hallelujah. You can go there. But I would direct people to our website, and the web address is www.mattimex.com. That's MATTIMEX.com. And we have a call to action page. So if you go to the website, to the call to action page, you can see just how you can contribute or get involved in other ways. We have a whole list, and then a way for you to contact us to let us know how you would like to get involved in the project.
Right. Because I know a lot of Black families have missing fathers. One of my good friends wrote a book called Missing Daddies. So I know that a lot of families have gone through that in situation. So there's probably a lot of people out there that want to see this film or want to get involved in some kind of way. So it's good that they can be able to keep up with it and see when that film comes out. And so, you
But
know,
may I say something? We according to the statistics, it's not just Black families. It is something that occurs across demographics. So, and even when I reached out and as I talked to people, people from all backgrounds have connected to it. And another thing I'd like to say is that we recently hired a director for this project, and it would be under his leadership. And this is a name I want you to remember because you're going to be hearing it over and over. His name is James Hampton.
Okay.
And he told me that one of the reasons that he wanted to direct, or he connected with this project, is because he grew up without his father.
Right.
And it's very important for him to be there for his children. And that's what he's doing. He has a young family, and, he's trying to be the best father that he can be. And also, this young man is a follower of Christ. And he said that his goal as a director is to introduce the world to Christ
All
through
right.
his filmmaking.
All right. Well, that's a good goal to definitely have. So
Yeah.
we appreciate you coming by tonight and telling us about your film and all. And that sounds like great work that you're doing. And anytime you can take a step in trying to unite families and get people back together, that's always a great thing. So we appreciate you coming by.
And I appreciate being here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. So we're going to go to another commercial, and then we'll be with our last guest, who happens to be one of our change makers from the March issue of this year, March Change Makers issue. She will be here to tell us about her Believe and Move movement after this commercial. Go, Nick.
You asked for it, you got it. Glennis's Butter Biscuit Mix.
Glennis's Butter Biscuit Mix. Get your fix.
Light, airy, buttery, delicious. Glennis's Butter Biscuit Mix. Order yours online at glenniskitchen.com.
Glennis's Butter Biscuit Mix. Get your fix.
All right. If you haven't had Glennis's products yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. They're all good. They're very delicious. I've tried them myself. So you need to go out there and get some of her products. She's a very great product, and she's a very great person herself. So next up is BAM, Believe and Move, our change makers issue, Miss Zenovdia Love. Welcome to the stage. Good evening. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Mr. Anderson. Thank you
All
so
right.
much for this opportunity to be on your platform on this evening.
It's good to have you on here, and it's good to chat with you again. It's been a few months, but
Yes.
I see you're still doing the great things that you're doing.
Yes, sir.
I see you got the little sign in the background saying "Believe."
Absolutely. Believe. Listen, I remember, I can't think of her name. I think it was Darlene Bishop. She came out with an acronym on Believe, and Believe for her acronym is because Emmanuel lives, I expect victory time.
All right.
So it's very
All
important.
right. I can go with that.
Yes, very important that we believe. However, the BAM represents believe and move.
And move, right? And I have never forgotten that since the first day I met you and you told me about that. I have never forgotten about that. And I think about it every time when I think about something I'm getting ready to do. It's believe and move.
Yes.
2 parts.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's
Absolutely.
great. It's great to have you on again. So and now we get more people to understand what you're doing. So tell us about BAM.
Yes. So greetings to Facebook and all the social media platforms. My name is Zenovdia Love, as Mr. Anderson has acknowledged. And BAM is basically a movement. BAM is basically a movement. It was basically developed from Women of Warfare Wins Now, which is my personal ministry. Wow, now. Women of Warfare Wins Now, not later, but now. And oftentimes we are in many struggles in life, or even spiritual wars. A lot of us have not ever experienced the Afghanistan war, but however, we have struggled with our personal wars, either it be in our minds, either it's financials, either it's relationships, whatever that may be. And oftentimes we know what to do, but we just don't move in it. So I found myself in a situation in year 2012, actually 2010, going through some transitions in my life. And I knew the word. I was brought up in church, all those things, but I just didn't feel like, the Lord
Yeah.
was present, because
Yeah.
the cares of the world was just so heavy, right? And you often
Right.
tell yourself, why me? Why me? So I
Right.
had to come to a point in my life where I had to basically just get it done. And so when I was in that season, the Lord birthed BAM, BAM. And
Mhm.
what BAM is believe and move, as I stated before. We know the word, but we just don't believe enough in the word to move into things that the Lord has called us into. Although we
Yeah.
have faith, although we speak Jesus, although we are doing all these busy things. But when you
Right.
look at BAM, BAM motivates that person who feels stagnant. Because
Mhm.
oftentimes we try and we try and we try, and it seems like success is there. But then once success is there, it seems like you're making a couple more steps backwards, right? So
Right.
although you have those moments in your life that seems like that you're not winning, you have to know within yourself that you can believe and move.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
And so
a lot of times doesn't that come from, like, if you've never experienced a valley experience where you went down and gotten
yes.
so down that you
Uh-huh.
couldn't see anywhere out except God, and then God brings you out of that, that's when you really start to believe from that
Yes.
point on. And then anything that you do after that, you start to believe and move because you've gone through that and you saw his power. So a lot of times before that valley experience, we ain't been down enough. I
Right.
remember it was on somebody's song. It was a Fred Hammond song when the lady says, "If you haven't experienced anything, baby, you will."
You will.
Because
Mhm.
once everything is good. It's not. You've had bad times, but they haven't been that bad. Okay, but then when you hit that moment where
That
it's
moment.
down, and
Yes.
you down to your knees, and the only way out was God. After that, that's when you really learn to trust God, no matter what it looks like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. And
And
I
it,
know,
and
and I
it,
know, and I know for
it-
me, Gerald, you know, when you were saying you're up here and then you come down, I
mm,
understand what that looks like,
me
right? I
too.
mean, to the point where I had to transition from a location to another location, going through transition after divorce. Had no
Mhm.
family here, no anything, but I had to really trust God through that process, right?
Right. Right.
Although I just feel like I was walking through that season alone. But even in that season of pause, right, I learned so much about Z. I learned so much about what it means to move. I understood so much about who the Lord was in my life at that particular
Mhm.
time. So even, coming to current, the Lord has been so faithful, believing and moving in every area of my life, because I had to reestablish who I was. I had to
Right.
represent myself to the enemy, like, enemy, this is who I am. This is who God had caused me to be. So
Right.
sometimes we have to take dominion and power over the assignment over our lives, even though it does look so traumatic. We have to understand that God has given us the ability and the strength to move. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and when you say you know what that looks like, I know what that looks like too. So like I said, once you've gone through it, and
Yes.
it's like you've been taught to trust God. So when you come up upon something else, say, okay, He brought me through that one thing. He's gonna bring me through this too. He didn't bring
Mhm.
me through that one thing just to let me go now. So it's tough for people who haven't experienced that to tell
Yes.
them, yeah, believe and move. That's a tough
Mhm.
thing.
It is.
People don't, they like you said, they know God, they know Jesus, but they haven't experienced enough to really know, to trust and believe. 'Cause we
Yes.
oftentimes we'll put self in there and we'll try to fix it ourselves.
Mhm.
If
Mhm.
you need a whatever blessing that you need to get out of whatever situation you are, you say, okay, God, I'm trusting you. Then you go out and you do something yourself
Yes.
to
Yes. And
try
I
to
have
fix it.
actually found myself in those situations because I didn't
Mhm.
have patience. Like
Right.
how when God tells you that this is going to happen for your life, we sometimes get in the way of the Lord, because we feel
Exactly.
like that if I put my hands in this, this situation may change. And sometimes it may change for a moment, but it's not the right yes for that
Mhm.
situation, because
Right.
sometimes we
Right.
get impatient. And then we talk about movement. It really doesn't matter how we move as long as we put in some effort to our movement. And I'm reminded of
Right.
Ecclesiastes, where it says that the race is not given to the swift, nor to the strong, not even the ones that have the wisdom, the education, all the network and support or anything like that, but it said it's given to the ones who endure it.
Right.
So I can have
Yep.
all of the credentials and all of the pedigree, all of those fabulous things, but if I do not know how to endure hard times, it would be very challenging for me to win in
There you
life.
go. Yeah. And I think of Abraham and Sarah.
Come
When
on.
God told them, I am going to give you a son. And they like didn't think it was going to happen, or they didn't believe it, but then they went out and did something themselves to make it happen. That's not what he told you.
Right,
So,
right. And in this life and time, the Lord is not really concerned about how old we are or how long it has been. He's just concerned about our faith. Are we willing to just put it all in for the sake of faith? Because even
right.
when we are attacked in life, it's not even about us, it's about our faith story. Okay.
Right.
So when God manifests his blessings in our lives, it's not even about us. It's about the covenant that we have with God. So people will see that God is really alive and well in our lives. That's why he blesses us to be able to share that testimonial.
Right. So your BAM movement. So what is it? You down in Florida. So what are you doing down there now?
Yes.
What's the
So
update?
yes. So the update from the last time we had our interview, you remember I put in the magazine by Faith that I'm really trusting God for, the investors for my BAM Leadership Academy, right? All of
Right.
that goes with faith, 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 faith. And it was many doors that was closed. And I believe that when there's a no, God always present another opportunity for you to walk through. So it's ironically that you would ask me to speak tonight on my testimonial, because August the 1st, I became a vendor in Florida for the Polk County schools. And the Lord has opened up a door for me to partner up with a private school. And so they're contracting out my services with BAM. So BAM Leadership Academy is basically who we are. We believe, we move, we grow, and we inspire, and we impact those K-8 students' lives. So when you look at the BAM Leadership Academy, under that wheel comes a lot of different services that I offer. But because I don't have a building, am I going to just stop and just leave it stagnant and not move and just let it be dormant? No. God says, do what you have with what you have in your hands. So right now I've been using like the libraries for my tutoring services, tutoring the kids in the summer, in the fall, just making impact in the marketplace. And this particular organization, I did more than I should have done, but I literally heard the Lord say, just serve. So I gave them my talent and my time in certain situations on their campus. And just this week, I was approved for their campus for the tutorer.
Yeah.
And so my long-term goal is just have it's franchised out. So it's not just for Florida, but the vision that God has given me is from state to state. So I don't really have to be here in Florida for the organization to run, but I am going to start with the tutoring service and see how God expands that with the team. And I'm just going to move forward from state to state.
Yeah, I remember we talked about that. So
yes.
Yeah. So I mean, I had you on my mind to do this ever since the magazine. But when you say when God closes the door or it's a no or something, I don't necessarily subscribe to the it being a no. I think it's a not that one. Or
Okay,
not that time. So so if you're trying to do something and it doesn't, it's something and then it stopped. It's not a no. It's like, no, that's not the one I want. That's not the one I want. Or with you, it's like, it's no, that's not this. It's not the time. No, it's not the time. No, it's not the time. And then it's like now. Then I reached out And it
Mhm.
turns out I was reaching out right at a time where he was already doing something in your life.
Wow.
So
Wow.
and I didn't know that, of course. I
Right.
just
And you know,
know he just said reach out to you
yes.
to get you on the show. So but that's how God works. So
And you know what? You have no idea, Gerald, how you motivated my faith, even when you reached out and asked if I was available, because even with BAM, I believe that even with that acronym we have inside my private group, the BAM B12 drops, injection of faith, right?
right,
And the
right.
drops represents determination, resilience, overcomer, persistent in prayer
Mhm.
in order to
Mhm.
cross over into the promised land. So there's moments that I have to do those BAM injection drops of faith. Just like in the natural, you have the B12 injection, right?
Right,
To give you that energy, to give you that vibrancy. Where the BAM
right.
B12 injection drops of faith are those positive words that's basically developed from the word of God based on your situation that you're currently walking through. So I
That's
may
right.
be walking through a season that I don't feel that I can believe and move. But if I can just remember that BAM B12 injection drop of faith that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, then you know what? I can get up and I can move and I can start again no matter what.
Yeah, it's in the word. I can, if the word says I can do all things through
Yes.
Christ, then that's a truth. That is a truth. It's a 100% truth. There's no denying in it. But it says I can do all things through Christ, not through
Yes.
you, not through
Right. Right.
Gerald, not through Zenovdia. It's through Christ. So we have to remember that. So, but
Yes.
yeah, I always, from the time you first told me about BAM, I love the acronym. I was sold on that right at the start, and I've been using it. You ask my wife. I've been using it ever since then. Believe and move, because if
Yes.
you're getting ready to do something, you got to believe, but you also got to move.
You have to
So
move.
I've always kept myself in a position where I could say, "Hey, do you want to come on the show and talk?" Because I do think that people need to hear that, and I
Yes.
do believe that somebody is going to watch this video, and they're going to feel that they're in a position where they need to believe and move, and they're going to execute that, and they're going to be blessed by it. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
that's why we're here.
I believe that. And Gerald, even going back to school at age 45, as a
Mhm.
first generational graduate, 45, when I'm telling you believing and moving in every aspect of my life, it's just not ministry, but it's just life in general, right? But going
Right.
back to school at 45 and finishing my bachelor's degree in business, and then I furthered my degree in my master's with organizational leadership, and just graduated this year with my master's. And the
Mhm.
education really has nothing to do with me. I'm grateful that God has given me the opportunity. I feel good. I feel great at 53, but I want to
Mhm.
use it as a bait to motivate our young adults. Because if our young
Right.
adults are at home with no major responsibilities, that's a
Right.
bait to encourage them to believe and move.
Right.
And
Exactly.
then it destroys those generational curses, because
Right.
oftentimes our children feels as if they can't do it. They don't have the motivation.
Mhm.
There's social media platforms that's motivating their movement instead of them being motivated by positive reinforcement. So I'm that
Exactly.
person that's designed to support those young adults, the Z generations, the X generations. And I feel that when we do our part as adults, when we do our part as a community, I feel that the children will have an example to live by.
Oh, awesome. So, one last question: where do you see this? I know you see it as going from state to state, but what else do you see? How do you see this growing?
Oh yeah, so I have a K through 8 business plan globally on a franchise level. However,
Mhm.
I want to be able to expand it even through the high school arena. And what I mean by that is using the high schoolers as leaders to develop the K through 8.
Okay.
I see where it's going international, and that's one of the reasons why I took up strategic leadership in international studies, because I feel as I continue to believe and move, that God will connect the dots with the right people.
Right. Okay. Well,
Mhm.
that sounds exciting. You'll be keeping a watch.
Yes, and you
We
know
will
I'm an
definitely
author
be keeping a
too,
watch.
right? You know that I'm
Right.
an author too, right? I'm an
I do
author.
know that you're. I
Yes.
do know that you're an author. All
Yes.
right.
So even this is my second edition here, Gerald,
Uh-huh.
and the Believe and Move second edition is all about personal assessments.
Okay.
How can I create a better life for me in the area of stagnation? And there's questionnaires that are in the back of the book because
Mhm.
sometimes we can be our biggest hindrance, right, from
Okay.
moving forward. It's not other people. It's not the competition, because what if Walmart has stopped when Kmart was in business or Target was
Right.
in business? That means
Right.
we have to revamp and re-strategize our craft,
That's
right?
right.
And oftentimes we don't believe in move or share because we feel someone else is going to steal that idea. But at the end of the
Right.
day, what's for us will be for us. So we have to continue to bam it out.
Right. So do you have a website that people can buy that from?
Yes. They can actually purchase it on Amazon, but you can go to my website at www.womenofwarfarewindsnow.com. You can click on the BAM store, and the BAM store will lead you to the actual book.
But they buying it from you, not from Amazon.
Correct. Right. Yes,
Okay.
I need my royalties. Okay, I need my
Right.
royalties.
Right. Yeah, we want them to buy from the author. As I said
Yes.
earlier,
Yes.
buy from the author. Amazon makes enough money as it is. Buy from the author, so the author gets the maximum amount of royalties back. So,
Yes.
all right. So we appreciate you coming by tonight and sharing
Thank
BAM with
you.
us again and bringing
Thank
your
you.
story to life.
Thank you
From
so much.
the change makers issue. So we wish you all the best and in the future. And we believe in BAM, and we want to see BAM nationwide, worldwide.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so
Have a
much.
good. You're
All
welcome.
right.
Have a good evening.
Okay. Blessed night.
All right. Bye bye.
Mhm.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up our show for tonight. We wish Tina all the best. I don't know which. I know she's having some issues today, but we wish her all the best, and we appreciate everybody for coming by and watching the show tonight. In 2 weeks, we're going to have Miss JoJo Scott. She's an author and a survivor of depression that will be by our show to talk to us about the things that she's doing. And we also have Denver journalist turned comedian, Mr. Sam Adams. You will want to catch this young man because he's gonna be great. He's gonna make you laugh, and he's gonna inform you about some great things that he's doing. So come by and check us out in 2 weeks. That will be August the 21st. We'll see you then.